right, can I zoom in? I sure can. How's that? Is that better? Okay. 1 minute, guys. All right. All right, I think it's time to get started. I'm going to go ahead and close the door. Yeah, we can get moving. All right, so welcome to my online folks. Welcome to my in-house participant, and I'm glad to have you all here. Shameless self-promotion as usual. Next week, we are doing PowerPoint accessibility. So the rules of accessible PowerPoint documents. Now, I want to say one thing. The date of next week's session is exactly the same as always, but it was shown in the emailed version of the bulletin as Friday the 13th. That's wrong. That may have been my bad. I might have put a 313 down there instead of a 312. So apologies for any confusion, but next week's session is the same as always, Thursday the 12th, 10 a.m., PowerPoint accessibility. Okay? All right. So what are we talking about today? Today is kind of a training session, but it's more of like a demonstration of the inventory of a lot of the things that you can do in Microsoft Teams beyond just having meetings and communicating in a chat. Now, some of you may know a lot of the other things that you can do in Teams, but I just want all of us to be on the same page as to how versatile Teams can be. Technically speaking, with the exception of email, okay? If you don't use specialty applications like, say, Adobe, Photoshop, or something like that, you could spend a majority or the entirety of your work day inside of Teams. Meeting with people, working with files, creating files, using different apps, and doing all kinds of other stuff. Teams is the one-stop shop for, you know, our work environment. Teams really came to the forefront. We've been using Teams for years, but it really exploded, obviously, when COVID closed everything up. We all had to go home, and Teams was our lifeline to one another to get our jobs done. Well, what happened after COVID? After COVID, we came back, but we got so accustomed to using Teams during COVID that we never really stopped. And in fact, I don't know about you guys, I don't know about your departments. I can tell you that in IT, most of our meetings still take place over Teams. And we found that it actually has advantages. For instance, we don't have to wait for people to come. People just turn on their Teams meeting. We can very efficiently and effectively share and edit files in real time. So we found that having Teams meetings was sometimes actually better than having in-house meetings. We all say, oh, I want to have an in-house meeting. That's everybody prefers in-house meetings. Yeah, that's great. But there are things you can do in Teams that you can't do in in-house meetings. But my point for today is that I want to show you the things you can do in Teams beyond just meetings, how you can maximize your meetings, but also beyond just meetings. Okay. And so I know that none of you here are beginners at Teams. I know that you guys, we've all been using Teams to a great extent, but I want to inventory all these things that we can do. So I want to start off with what we no meetings mostly, Teams mostly for, and that's the meetings that take place. So right now, you and I, all of you, are in a meeting. I actually happen to be using for the moment the Teams browser version because I needed to show you the Teams installed version, which is what I'm sharing, but I'm holding this meeting in the Teams browser version. And one of the things that you're going to want to know is that the Teams browser version is almost, I would say about 95% as feature packed as the installed version. There are some missing features, but if you didn't have Microsoft Teams installed on your computer, you could use the browser version of Teams without a problem. I have a couple of computers that I use that are Linux based. I'm a big Linux head, okay? Linux does not include a Microsoft Teams app, all right? So what can I do in Linux? I just open my browser, I open Teams in my browser, and I am off and running because I can pretty much do almost everything that I need to do in Teams in the browser. So let's go ahead and take a look at meetings really quickly. What I'm going to do, I'm going to talk about the meeting recaps where you can get stuff like attendance, okay, and AI summaries and live captions. Now, one of the things that you can do in meetings is involve live captions. Okay, I'm going to open live captions on my, I'm actually going to unshare for a second, and I'm going to share my browser screen, and I'm going to show you the live captions. So let me change out the share. Okay, let me close my camera for a second. So you're gonna hear me and not see me, but I'm gonna share the screen that I'm using the meeting for. So hang on 2 seconds. Okay, so now you are seeing the screen that I'm actually having my meeting in. Now, I want to involve something called live captions. This is great for accessibility. So I'm going to go over here to my More, the International More button, and I'll go down to Language and Speech, and I'll turn on live captions. And a panel will open up underneath and will, to the best of its ability, show captions of what I'm saying. Now, how accurate, because this is AI that's happening here, how accurate the captions are depends on your use of the language, how much of an accent you have or don't have, how clear or unclear your words are. You may be speaking English clearly, but you may be speaking quickly, and maybe a word comes out a little bit flubbed or a little bit, whatever it happens to be, it's not clear. And so the AI is going to put the next best match into the text over there. So it's not always going to be 100%. So as you can see, it right here at the bottom says Guy is going to put the next best match. So I wasn't clear for a second, or the AI wasn't clear. But regardless, as far as accessibility is concerned, you're going to want to know that you can put these live captions in. It's not just that we are creating a transcript. While this is recording, a transcript is being created, but the live captions are happening as I speak. So for those who have hearing difficulties, this can be a critical accessibility feature that, frankly, we may, I don't think there's a rule that we have to use it at the moment, okay? But I can see it happening in the foreseeable future, okay? Does anybody have any questions about the live captioning feature? Are we all good? Okay, so I'm going to unshare, and I'm going to turn off the live captions at the moment. So I'm going to go back to language and speech, and I'm going to toggle this off. So the live captions are toggled off. So I'm going to unshare and I'm going to reshare what I originally had up. So hang on 2 seconds and I'm going to go back to my other screen so we can have the installed version of Teams, which has the same feature, by the way. So what I showed you just now, you will also be able to trigger in a meeting in the installed version in Teams, obviously. So another thing that you can do, but it currently has some limited features, is you can go to a meeting. I'm going to go over to my chat here. I'm going to find a meeting that has ended. I did a test meeting over here. This is one of my test meetings here. All right. It was just a couple of minutes long. It wasn't a real meeting. I was just testing this meeting. I created this little meeting in preparation for this session. But I just want to show you that when your meetings are done, you can go to the instance of that meeting in your chat, click on it, and you can view the recap. Now, the recap of the meeting will show you several different things. One of the things it'll show you is the attendance of the meeting. So whoever came into the meeting, their name will show up right over here. If you need to know who came to your meeting, this is where you find it. If you download it, it will download as an Excel file and give you the names. And I believe if I go in here, if I download it, it comes as a CSV file, which opens in Excel. And I can open Excel here. All right, Excel will open and it will show this information about the meeting. So I had, it's not very well formatted, but my name, when I joined, when I left, how long I was in the meeting, and other information about me. Also basic information about the meeting. So if you need that kind of meeting information, then you will find that in the recap. So I'm going to close the recap. Any questions about the recap? I think it's pretty cool because now you know who's in the meeting. So when I finish these meetings, I finish these recordings, the first thing I do is I head over to the recap. Let me actually turn my camera on. Forgot to turn my camera back on. I go to the recap and I know exactly how many people were in this meeting. And so I can use that information for a variety of different purposes. So I'm going to close my recap. Now, here is where the limitations. Okay, Elaine, go ahead.
Yeah, I'm just wondering, do you have to be the organizer to see that, or
yes, I believe you have. Yes, I believe you have to be the organizer to see the recap of the meeting.
Okay.
Because
so
what happens is, what happens is the organizer is the only one that's going to get the instance of that recorded meeting in their chat. So if you're not the organizer, you're not going to have access to that.
Darn it.
Okay, I know. See, it's there. It's not 110%. And so the other problem that we have with the recap, even though I think it's worth showing, okay, is that in order to have things like AI summaries, you can generate an AI summary of the meeting, but you have to have a premium license. We all don't have a premium license. That's the problem. I don't have a premium license. So if I click on AI summary, I get nothing. What I do get, I can get my transcript. All right. So if I want to see what was said, even though I have to slog through the whole thing, I can get the AI generated transcript. Okay. Because transcript is created by AI. One of the things I could do with my transcript, if I were so inclined, is I could copy and paste my transcript, okay, and I could put it into Copilot, right? So I can go into, I'm going to grab another tab here. I'm just going to drag it in here, okay? I can drag it in here and I can say, okay, I can put that in here. I can see if it'll actually, come on. I'm not sure why I'm not getting any. Let's see over here. You know what I could do? I can go into Word. Hang on a second. So I'm going to go back into Teams. All right, in here, into my recap. Let me get my recap up. I'm going to copy my recap. And I'm going to copy that. I'm going to go into my instance of, come on, cooperate, computer. Thank you. I'm going to go to a blank document. It's a lot of extra clicks, but I just want to show you what you can do. So I'm going to pop that in here. If it's going to, it'd be interesting. Okay, there we go. Here's the summary. And what it actually is getting here. Okay, yeah, this is my transcript over here. And then I can say over here, summarize this chat. So I'm going to start a new chat. If it lets, for some reason, this is, okay, summarize the main points on this page. It's not going to come out great because I have all this 0 minutes, 41 seconds. But anyway, just to show you what you can do. Okay, and it's going to go off and it's going to create what it thinks is a summary. So for those of us who don't, yeah, there you go. Technology. Something for you to play with. But for those of us who don't have premium Teams licenses, this is what we're stuck with. If you've got a long transcript and you want to create a summary of it, you can try to copy and paste that summary into a document and see if Copilot will actually work for you. One of the things I love actually is when Copilot doesn't work, to show you that it's not yet that scary. Okay, but anyway, it's worth for you guys to try it. Okay, so let me get this back down here. All right, so we did meeting recap. I got my handy dandy script here. Meeting recap, attendance we did, AI summaries, which we can't do, live captions. Now, I also want to show you how to share from a phone to a meeting. One of the things I'm going to start doing more of is showing you how to use mobile content. So I have my phone. This is an Android phone. It works pretty much the same way in an iPhone. As long as I have the Teams app, I can do this, right? So I'm going to get rid of all the apps I was using before, and I'm going to open Teams. Now, you can't see me open Teams yet. Okay, but what's going to happen is on Teams, I'm going to get an indicator that there is this meeting going on. Would you like to join? It's the same indicator you're seeing up top over here. Okay, so it's going to ask me if I want to join the meeting. I'm going to say, yes, I'm going to join this meeting. Now, it's going to ask me next, do we want to add this device or do we want to transfer to this device? Well, I don't want to transfer the meeting to this device. I want to add this device to the meeting because then it'll allow me to share. So I'm going to click add this device. And now I have, and you can't see this, so I'm just doing this just because this is my habit. But one of the boxes I have down here is the share box. I'm going to click the share button here. And it's going to give me a bunch of different options: share photo, share video, share a PowerPoint, share screen, share a whiteboard. So if you want to whiteboard off your phone, you can do that. But I'm going to share my screen. So I'm going to share this screen. I'm going to say not share one app. I'm going to share the entire screen because those are my two options: share one app or share the entire screen. Now I'm going to share my screen. And now you're going to see my screen. So this is the meeting taking place on my Teams screen. And now I can do all kinds of stuff, that Teams allows me to do on my phone, or I can share something else on my phone. I can share anything on my phone that I want to share, which means, people, be careful what you got on your phones, because it may simply pop up in the share. Okay? That goes without saying. But anyway, I'm going to go over here, and here I can share my Reddit screen if I want to. And so you see everything going on here with my Reddit account, which has nothing embarrassing, so I'm okay showing it. And I can, this becomes important. Let's say if I have a mobile version of Word or a mobile version of Adobe Acrobat. I believe I happen to have, do I still have that? No, I uninstalled that. I used to have the Adobe version of Acrobat. So if I wanted to show you the Adobe version of Acrobat a few weeks ago, I did actually a full training. You guys may have been there. I think you guys were there for the Adobe version of Acrobat. This is how I did it. So it's very useful to be able to share into a meeting, okay? So from your phone. So this is the way this is the way that I did it. And I'm going to go back to my full screen, and I'm going to hit the stop sharing button, and that's it. We're back to Teams. Is everybody good with that? Show of digital hands, or raise your hand over here if you're good with that. Okay, fantastic. If there are no questions, I'm going to move on with my handy dandy script. We're going to go to files. Okay, now, you can, as I said, you could technically spend your entire work day, your entire work environment within Teams, with the exception of email. Okay? I don't know why they make it so difficult to have your access to your email in this environment, but they didn't put it in there yet. But in any case, when I go over to my Teams, and you guys know this, so just wanted to make sure that everybody's on the same page. But when I go over to my team, so here's a team that I deal with, right? And one of the changes that Microsoft made in its infinite wisdom, insert sarcasm here, is it used to have up here at the top of the team, files. You remember that? It used to have files. Files works, but they changed it to shared. It's the same thing. Now, I'm not in the habit of opinionating, okay? But it is my humble opinion that files works better than shared. I don't know if you guys agree, but files just works. But anyway, that's in the weeds. It's shared. When you go to shared, you go to your files, it's the same thing. And then you get all of these files that you're so accustomed to. So I just want to show you, make sure you guys are on the same page with how to work with files here. And there are a few things, new things, because this is constantly evolving. So first things first, all the new things that you can create. So you know that you can create a new folder. You know that you can create Word, Excel, PowerPoint, OneNote, notebook. Okay. You can create a Visio drawing. All right. So Visio is an old application. It's been around for a very long time. It's a flow charting application to create different kinds of workflows and whatever it happens to be. I actually thought at one point that Visio was no longer a thing. And now it's suddenly here, so that you can go to a Visio drawing. Okay, you can open a Visio drawing and use Visio. You can create a flow charting. Let me see if I got this right. You drag it out and you can do your flow charts with it. If I remember correctly, Visio was a very good flow charting application. Okay, and you have,
Raphael,
yeah.
you're not sharing your screen.
Oh, hold on a second. Then I must have been sharing the wrong thing. It did say share, and I really thought I shared. Hold on a second.
I'm not seeing it.
Hold on a second. Screen one, share. Are you guys seeing it now?
Yes.
Okay, I don't know what happened because I did exactly the same thing before and I thought I was sharing the screen. So let me go back to where I was before. Okay, hang on a second. So let me close this. Okay, so we're back over here. Okay, we're in our team. It says shared. That's what I was complaining about before. Shared versus files. And here's where you do all the new stuff, like I said before. And here is where you can go to Visio. And Visio will open up and you can go ahead and start your flow charting process here. And you can type, right? And you can create connectors. Okay, this is not a Visio training, but those of you who have been into flow charting applications, this works pretty much the same way. Okay, so if anybody does want me to do a training of Visio within Teams, I'll be very happy to do it because I've worked with Visio extensively when it was an installed application. Do you need Visio to do this stuff? No, there are lots of other flow charting applications. You can do similar stuff in the whiteboard in Teams. Okay, but this is one tool that you have available to you. I'm going to close this. Going to go back to my files. Any other questions here? You can create a new Clipchamp video. So, but that opens up in the browser. So I'm going to have to drag that out. It opens up in a browser where you can start working with Clipchamp the way I showed you how to work with Clipchamp before. So you can record videos, you can edit videos, things like that. That's not something that I want to do right now. We don't have time, okay, but it's something that you can do. So a new Clipchamp video is an available tool for you here. And create a video with Copilot is something that, you know, we kind of worked with when I was showing you Copilot Create. So there you go. So I'm going to get this out of here. We're back to over here. Now, you all know that you can upload files and folders and templates. So that's not something that I have to show you. One of the other things that I can show you though is editing in grid view, edit in grid view here. You can turn this into a grid view where you can add columns to your information about each file, right? So if I wanted to, I could add a column that involved like things like text that I would want to enter, a choice of something. It's almost like creating a form, right? Multiple lines of text. I haven't worked with all of these, but you've got all of these things that you can play with. You can throw a hyperlink into here. So if I click on hyperlink, it's going to set the link to so I'm going to hit next. And it's going to want to know the name, the description, and the hyperlink. So if I type in AP News, and then I just type in news, and then it's a hyperlink, all right? It's going to, let me see if this actually works, because it's not even asking me for a hyperlink at this point. So I'm going to save it, and it's going to be, to be honest with you, I'm not exactly sure how you would use a hyperlink in this. So, and I can't see a way to delete the column at this point. So, but the other thing I do want you guys to see is how you can filter and sort older to newer, newer to older, filter by, and you can filter by all of the entries in here if you want to see or unsee specific entries. Group by modified when at certain dates. You can hide this column, format this column. Here I can hide this column. So here's where I get rid of it. I can hide I should be able to hide there, column's gone. There you go. So adding a column, you guys can play with how adding a column works for you or doesn't work for you. If you don't like the column, then you can get rid of the column by hiding the column. Here I can sort ascending, descending. I can widen the column, narrow the column. I can add another column from here, show hide columns. I can work with totals. There are no totals to work with here because this is a text column as far as numbers are concerned. The only thing I can do is a count. And I'm not sure if it's going to give me anything. So a lot of these features are fairly new. So some of these features I'm seeing for the first time. But again, this is the purpose of this is to show you what's here. Okay, so we all know how to create new files. We all know how to upload files. You can also view files from messages that were sent to you. So for instance, in your chats, you may have received messages with, in the chats you had some kind of an attachment, an attached file. Well, those attached files will show up if you click in messages, okay? You can choose by files or you can choose links. So if you're looking for an attachment, you can either go to your chat and go search for that attachment somewhere, or you can go over here to the shared section. You can look in messages and find what's recent, only files, or only links. And that's a more efficient way for you to find the files that you may have been looking for. You may have not happened to save the file to your computer or to your OneDrive or whatever it happens to be. So here is another way that you can search for those files. Okay? Any questions? We all good? Show of digital hands? Okay, fantastic. Now, I'm going to go back over here to all documents. Working within Microsoft Office is the same as working within Microsoft Office in the browser. So it's the same set of features. I'm going to open Microsoft Excel here, and what it actually does is it opens it in a browser, right? So sometimes for some reason, the application opens in Teams, and sometimes it opens in the browser. So in this case right now, you saw me open Excel. Excel opened in the browser. I had to drag it over. If I try a new Word document, for whatever reason, Word opens in here. Okay? So it's one or the other. In either case, it'll work. It's just whether it opens in Teams or if it opens in the browser. Now, you have the same set of features here in Word that you do in the browser in Word, including the ability to use Copilot for Word over here. So all the things that you were using your browser to work with Word, you have all those same features over here. Okay? The other thing that I want you to note, you can change your ribbon. I'm going to go to the classic ribbon. I'm going to go to review. Since we have all been talking about this and it's crunch time, you can check the accessibility of your document here as well by going to the review tab, going to check accessibility, and using the accessibility checker here. I always add that in because it's not going away in any case. Okay, so let me get away from that. Let me close this, and I'm going to go in here. And I can also look at, let me see what I have over here. I can export this list to Excel. I can automate with flows, rule. We're not going to go through this because I'm not even familiar with all this stuff. I'm going to become familiar with it, but I'm not familiar with it. But I can also open this document library inside of SharePoint. So you may already know that when you have a team, there is a SharePoint site behind it. The team sources from that site. So everything that is happening in my site is represented in some way over here. Let me go to another one of my teams where I know that I have full control over everything. So I'm going to go to shared. Okay, So this is the team that I use for when we hire students. And I can go over here to open in SharePoint. I click open SharePoint and it will open a tab in my browser to show me all of this stuff in SharePoint. All right. And so you are free to engage with your site's content in SharePoint or in Teams. Whatever you do in SharePoint, the change will be reflected in Teams and vice versa. Okay, so yeah, and I can do the same thing. I can open Word, Excel, PowerPoint, just like everything that you know that you can do in SharePoint. So you can toggle between SharePoint and Teams in that manner. I'm going to close that up. Another thing that you may have in your Teams is the staff notebook, right? That will open a OneNote notebook. Sometimes it opens it in the browser. Sometimes it opens it inside of Teams. I did a whole training on Microsoft OneNote. This is not a OneNote training, but I just want to show you, if you haven't used it before, that you can open a OneNote notebook inside your team for people to be able to share and collaborate on notes, okay, within the team itself. So that's another option that you have available to you. And then I'm going to go away from that. And then there is Poly. I got another thing over here. Yeah, Poly. Poly may or may not be a part of your team, but Poly is one of our apps. Poly is a polling app and a survey app that is integrated into Teams when you install it, that you can use to generate live survey results when you are in a meeting, right? So I can go ahead and I can create a Poly. Let me see, do I have Poly going on over here? Give me 2 seconds, guys. I want to make sure I can throw Poly into this. How many of you, show of digital hands, how many of you have used Poly? Show of digital hands. Nobody? Nobody here has used Poly? Okay, so I'm going to show you a little bit about Poly over here. Poly will give you these options: multiple choice, open text, yes, no, all these stuff that is not unfamiliar to you, especially if you've used forms, because it's similar in that manner to forms. And so you can create a couple of, so I can go ahead and create a couple of questions, right? And so I'm going to create multiple choice. So I'm just going to call this question 1, right? And choice 1, if I could spell, choice 1, choice 2, right? And then I can add another question. Just going to add one more question, question 2. I'm going to call it option 1 and option 2, right? And then I'm going to save it. Now, enter the title of your Poly. Come on. I should be able to type it. Not letting me type. That's interesting. And, oh, probably because I didn't save. Hang on a second. Let me save it. Nope, still not letting me do it. But what it is letting me do is I'm going to copy this link and I'm going to throw it into the chat here. Now you guys go ahead and click it and tell me what happens. Okay. So you guys should have received the Poly. Did you receive the Poly link in the chat?
I think I need to join the.
Oh, you're not in the meeting. Oh, that's right. You're here, so you didn't join the meeting. Okay, all right. Show of digital hands, thumbs up. Who got the Poly link? You guys got the Poly link? And
It
does it
works,
take
but
you
it
to?
tells me the survey link is not valid. Try reaching out to the sender to troubleshoot.
Let's see, verify link, the survey. Technology, I swear, okay. Anyway, just so you understand, this is, okay, this is something that you can do. Let me see if I hit this, if it gives me anything different. I'm going to try this once again. I'm going to click it myself. Don't click on it. I just pressed another button. I want to see if I get the same result. Yes, survey link. It's reaching out to the sender to troubleshoot. Okay, anyway. It's what's available and something for us to learn about. I have not used Poly very much, so you can see how much I know about it. Full disclosure, I'm not going to tell you that I'm an expert at this, but it's there for you to try to use if you need to use it. Okay, so that brings us to the next piece of this, which is the installation of apps. So Teams allows you to install Microsoft apps and external apps, right? So right down here is the apps button. If I click on apps, it will provide me with a whole list of possible apps. A lot of these are from Microsoft. Here is a polling app from Microsoft, which gets all of 1.6 stars. You're free to try it. Let's play with it just for the heck of it. I'm going to open the polling app. I'm going to go ahead and open it, select the channel within my general. I'm going to click OK. I'm going to click Go. About this bot, click OK. And where is it? Boy, what a way to make me look good. Let's try this again. Let's try polls. Open, open. Try it out. There we go. So now it loads a poll. So now I can put my question. So question 1, same thing, right? And then I can add another option, just like in Microsoft Forms. I can preview it. All right. And here is a preview of the card you will be sending. And it shows up in the chat. Okay. And I can go submit one, option 1, submit vote. And it should show up as a real-time submit vote. Should show up as a real-time. There we go, right over there. Okay. So that's one app that you can install. Another app that you got all kinds of apps. Actually, you have so many apps. I can't obviously go through all of them. A lot of these built by Microsoft, but a lot of these are third-party apps, which you want to be careful of. Okay. Here, because you don't know how those apps are created. Here's a YouTube app and here's the Copilot app. So I'm going to open the Copilot app and I can use Copilot within Teams. So that's another means that I can use Copilot at. Copilot is everywhere in our environment. Now I can use it within Teams. Okay. To be honest with you, I have not totally played with Copilot within Teams. We can play with a prompt and see what happens, but let's see what over here. So I need a brief history, the Copilot. These are my recent prompts over here. Show me all of my C2T2 chats. And I click, and let's see if it'll do anything for me. I can help explain or summarize the things you talked about before, but I don't have the ability to pull up your chats. Okay, help me reconstruct my C2T2 project timeline. Can you summarize my C2T2 discussions? So let's try that, and then we're going to move forward from here. I'm going to show you one more app that you can install. See, and so you're getting the limitations of what Copilot can do. But we've already been through Copilot, so you should be familiar with that. I'm going to go back to my apps. There's the YouTube app over here, which I can open in the general chat in my team. And now I can open a YouTube channel, okay? Whatever it happens to be, and show a YouTube video to everybody in Teams. Now, could I simply share my browser and go to YouTube? Absolutely. But this is just another tool that's available to you. Okay, are we good with that? Now, another thing that I wanted to show you in here is shifts. This is useful for people who have employees. I don't know if any of you have employees that work for you. If you do, you may have used shifts. I worked with the library to transition their whole library staff work schedule over to shifts in Teams. And it was very, very successful for them, because one of the cool things you can do with shifts is swap shifts, and notifications come out on your phones. As long as you have Microsoft Teams and notifications set to on, if somebody wants to swap a shift, you will get a notification of it. But here in shifts is where you can create a group, like we have our library test team, which is all these, people as part of this group, which would be your staff, and you can create a shift schedule within Teams. And you can actually use shifts if you wanted to for clock in and clock out, and see everybody's, clock in, clock out history, and configure your shifts for your entire work staff. So I don't have time to go through how to use shifts, but shift is pretty popular on this campus. And so it's worth it if you have staff that you need to schedule and you don't use shifts. I can help you create a shifts schedule. So I'd be the person to talk to if you wanted to learn how to use shifts from this point forward. Any questions so far? Okay, let's talk about channels real quick. Now, you guys are all familiar with channels in your team. There's the general channel, and then you can create other channels, right? So I can add a channel, and I have 3 options when I create a channel. Everybody here knows how to create a channel, right? Show of digital hands. Everybody good with creating channels? Or does anybody want to know how to create a channel? You all good? Okay, show of digital hands. Who wants me to show you how to create a channel? Okay, so I got one person here in this room who wants me to show how to create a channel. So what a channel is it's simply a space where you can specify a group within your team that has a specific purpose that other channels in your group don't match. So for instance, we have a general channel, but I also have an archives channel for old chats. Okay, here's a test channel. Each channel can have its own purpose. Each channel that you go into has its own set of posts, shared area for files, notes. You can add apps like a channel notebook, things like that. So to add a channel, when you're in your team, you go to the 3 dots, you click on it, and you go to add channel. And you give the channel a name. I'm going to give it a channel test channel 2. Okay? And I can put a description in if I want, but the main thing here is it a standard channel, which means everybody in my team has access to this channel, or is it a private channel, which means only certain people in the team, excluding those I don't select, can have access to the contents of this channel. So if I want a channel that is more secure, and I only want 2 other members of a team of 10 to have access to that channel, because it's confidential or whatever, I can create a private channel and add only those 2 people. What's fairly new in Teams is the shared channel. The shared channel allows me not only to include people in my team, but it allows me to include people outside the team and outside the organization. That's pretty new. I can now add people outside the organization to become part of that channel in the team. Okay? They can't become part of the overall team, but they can become part of this channel. So if I had within my team a channel for the purpose of conducting meetings and sharing content with people not at SUNY Oneonta, I could create a shared channel. All right? The thing you need to know about people on the outside is they will be treated as Teams guests. They won't have all the capabilities that members and owners inside the organization will have. Okay, but in any case, I'm just going to create a standard channel for now. Okay, and I'm going to hit create. And from this point forward, I will start choosing the individuals that will become part of my channel. Oh, I'm sorry. Hold on a second. Let me create another channel. That had to be in the private channel to choose people. So add a channel, test 3, private channel. Okay. And adding the channel. Now this is where I start choosing people. The reason I didn't get that dialogue to choose people for the standard channel is because it's assumed that everybody in the team will have access. But if I'm going to create a private channel, okay, now I have to choose people from the team. All right, I'm going to skip this. If I hit the skip button, everybody gets access. Now I'm going to go do another one. Okay, add channel, test 4, select shared, hit create. Okay, and one thing I know, okay, so here is where you add people to the channel. This is where you add emails. The person outside the organization will get an email with a link that they can access the channel through. It will open Teams on their computer and they can access the channel through that link. I'm going to skip and I want to show you one more thing. When I create the shared channel, so I'm going to call it test 5, and I create a shared channel, there's going to be this checkbox. Share this channel with everyone on the team. If I don't want to share it with everybody on the team, then I'm going to have to go and not only get people from the outside, but also choose whom from amongst my team I want to share this channel with. Okay, so yeah, that's how you do channels. Sorry, Catherine, I missed your comment. I use this for Dragon Express student workers. I'm assuming you're talking about shifts, right, Catherine? So you can see if she's still with us. I'm not sure she's still with us. But anyway, Catherine likes shifts. So there you go with channels. We're almost done. Actually, I think, oh, one other thing. Yes, absolutely. When I go to my Teams, right? And I go, so I'm going to go over here and I'm going to go into shared. Let's see if I have the button over here. So yeah, right over here. So I can engage with my files through Teams, which is what I do. Okay, but I can also, if I want, sync it to my computer. And what happens is that that particular set of documents will become available to me through my File Explorer. So then I can access it in here. So let's say I wanted to go into my trainings, into my, into this particular folder, okay? And I'm gonna go here and I'm gonna hit sync. So now I open my folder, my File Explorer, and I go down to the SUNY at Oneonta under my student employment team training. And now my files from that document, that folder, are now available to me in the File Explorer, and I can engage with them outside of Teams with the installed applications that I have instead of engaging with the applications within Teams. Okay? Any questions about syncing a folder from your Teams to your computer? Is everybody good with that? Okay, show of digital hands. We're all in good shape over here. Does anybody want me to show you anything that I have not yet shown you? Does anybody have any questions? We have about 4 minutes left, but I'm very happy to stick around and answer any questions beyond this. You good? Okay. All right, guys. So thank you very much. It's my hope that you learned something new from this. And if not, at least it boosted you. And come back next week on Thursday the 12th, not Friday the 13th, and we'll talk about PowerPoint accessibility. Okay, guys, thank you very much and have a great week. Thank you. Take care.